Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today, I am super excited because we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Ryzen Z1 Extreme version of the Lenovo Legion Go S. As you may already know, there's two versions with SteamOS pre-installed. You get the Z2 Go, which is the one I have here in my hands, and I'll have a video on that coming up the day after this video goes live. Unfortunately, my Z1 Extreme version with SteamOS was delayed by Best Buy, but I was able to get the Windows version with the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. So we're going to be taking a look at this one in this video, and depending on how delayed the SteamOS version with the Z1E is, I might just install it on here because we've got the same hardware. In this video, I've got a lot to cover and a lot to go over with this handheld. So before we get into it, I do want to mention that this video is sponsored by URCD Keys. I've been using this site for quite some time now. They offer Steam keys, Uplay, Ubisoft, but the main thing I pick up over here are Windows 11 Pro keys. And right now, if you use code ETA, you can get 25% off. So at checkout, we'll just enter the code ETA. That's going to bring the price down to $22.88. They're going to email you that key, and then you can activate Windows. Speaking of that, let's head over to a new PC that I recently built. As you can see, we're running Windows 11, and from Settings, we're going to go to Activation Settings. It's going to tell us that we're not active. We don't have a key installed, so we're just going to paste it right in here, choose Next. It's going to activate Windows for us, and we're ready to go. If you're in need of cheap Windows keys, I'll leave a link in the description, and remember, you can use code ETA for 25% off. In this video, we're taking a look at the Windows version of the Legion Go S with that AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. And I've been doing some testing so far. We're seeing some great performance out of this thing, and I knew we would. I mean, we've seen this APU in the ROG Ally, the Ally X, and the original Legion Go. But with this, we do have more RAM. And one big question before this even launched was, what's the speed of the RAM? It's actually running at 7,500 megatransfers per second. The lower end Z2 Go version has 6,400 megatransfers, and I was really hoping to see this, but ever since this was announced, I've always liked the design of it. Big, beautiful 8-inch IPS display, variable refresh rate, and in my opinion, it's one of the most comfortable handhelds on the market. And no matter what version you buy, you're going to get the same design. It's going to be either white or nebula blue. Obviously, with the Windows versions, we've got the white variant, and I think this one does look better. Got those locking triggers around back, programmable macro buttons here, dual front-facing 2-watt stereo speakers, a little bit of RGB around those Hall-based analog sticks. And on the channel, we've taken an extensive look at the lower-end Z2 Go version. When it comes down to it, it's using the same outer hardware. Up top, we've got dual USB 4 ports, a 3.5mm audio jack, volume up, volume down, and our power button, plus our LED indicator, which actually tells us which power mode we're in depending on the color. I'd say the main competitors here would be something like the ROG Ally X and of course the Steam Deck OLED. The Legion Go S is coming in heavier than both of these at 730 grams, but the way it's shaped, it really doesn't feel much heavier than the others. And we've got a larger screen here coming in at 8 inches as opposed to the Ally X's 7 and the Steam Deck OLED 7.4-inch display. When it comes to the overall specs here, we've got that AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. It's based on Zen 4, and we've got 8 cores, 16 threads, a base clock of 3.3, boost up to 5.1, that 12 compute unit RDNA 3 based iGPU up to 2700 MHz, 32 gigabytes of RAM running at 7500 megatransfers per second, a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD, and you can actually add a 2280, but these come pre-installed with the 2242. It's got that 8-inch 120 hertz VRR display, so we've got variable refresh rate here, 100% sRGB, 500 nits of brightness, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, 55.5 watt-hour battery with 65-watt fast charging capabilities, and it does come with a 65-watt charger in the box. And of course, this one comes out of the box with Windows 11, but we do have official support for SteamOS on this device also. As for software, we've got Legion Space, and I mainly use the quick menu here. We can adjust the performance, resolution, we can adjust the dead zones on those Hall-based analog sticks and Hall-based triggers. Basically, you can do anything you need to from that quick menu. The Go S also has this smaller trackpad, or more like a track point, and it's not horrible. I mean, it'll definitely get you by, but I don't find myself using it that much because we've got that built-in touch screen, and for me, it's a bit small. I kind of wish it was a little larger. Now we've got a Legion button over here, and this will bring us into full-fledged Legion space. And I want to give you a closer look at this. So what I'm going to do is plug this into my game capture because there's a few things that I want to go over. First things first, that RAM is running at 7,500 megatransfers per second. And on the Z2 Go version, remember we've got the Z1 Extreme version, this is running at 6,400. This is the same speed that the original Legion Go is running at with the same APU, but instead of 16 gigs, we've got 32. And from the BIOS, I've dedicated 8 gigs to the iGPU. Checking out Legion Space. Performance was the main thing I wanted to show you because there are some presets here and you can kind of combine this. So we've got our thermal mode, which is going to be our TDP, and we've got the OS power mode. There's a performance right here. It's already set up out of the box. There's also a power saving. But for both of these, we can swap the thermal mode and the OS power mode. Of course, we've got custom. I'm plugged into power right now and we can go up to 40 watts continuous. Got a 2-minute boost up to 43 and then a 10-second boost up to 53, just like the ROG Ally X, and on battery, it'll do up to 33 watts across the board. When changing performance on the fly, it's just a lot easier to use the quick menu, and from here, we've got that quiet, balanced performance, and I usually just leave it right here in performance. So basically, our OS power mode is in performance, but we can take it down to a 10-watt TDP, 15, and a 25 for performance. And keep in mind, when this is plugged into wall power, we've actually got higher TDPs for each of these settings. Controller mode, we can disable the touchpad vibration actually was off. And like I said, I mean, it works. We can change the sensitivity from here, 400 DPI, 800, 1200. But just the way it's set up, I kind of wish it was just flat on the body. It would make it a lot easier to use this. And I mean, it can be done, but in my opinion, it's just not a big enough trackpad to really utilize all the time. And you might use it a bit different than I do and totally love it, and that's fine. Personally, it's not something that I've been using unless I'm really in a pinch. So with that out of the way, the next thing I want to move over to are some benchmarks that I ran on this device, and keep in mind that I am in performance mode with these benchmarks. If you're interested in seeing, the benchmarks run at 10, 15, and 20 watts, I could do that later on. But when it comes down to it, I mean, these synthetics, at least for me, taking it all out for those is where I go. And then when it comes to real world gaming, that's where we can adjust that TDP, take it down or up depending on what we need to do. First up, we've got Geekbench 6, single core 2353, multi 12029, and this is right on par with other Z1 Extreme powered handhelds like the original Legion Go and the Ally X. Checking out some GPU benchmarks with 3D Mark, we've got Night Raid with a pretty decent score of 29,881. And the final one we have here is Time Spy coming in with a 3,481. So looking at the synthetics here, not much difference between the Ally X, the original Legion Go, and this device. I mean, when it comes to synthetic benchmarks, so now it's time to move over to some real world gaming. Cyberpunk 2077, 800p, Steam Deck preset, 15-watt TDP. On the Steam Deck, we're usually locked down at 30, but on average, the Steam Deck at 800p with these same settings can get around 42 FPS with the built-in benchmark. I can tell you right now, yeah, we're over that here with this at a 15-watt TDP. It really comes down to that more powerful iGPU and CPU we have here. With the Z1 Extreme APU here, only running at a 15-watt TDP really holds back the performance. You do this because, you want better battery life out of it, and still with something like this, we could lock it down in 40, still have a pretty decent time with it at 800p, but we can get a lot more out of this system. By bringing it up from a 15-watt TDP to a 25-watt TDP, and enabling FSR frame gen, we can now run this over 70 FPS on average at 1200p with that Steam Deck preset. Personally, on these 16x10 displays, as long as the game supports it, I like running these at around 1600 by 1000, so 1000p instead of 900p. And that way, we lower the resolution, therefore we can actually take the TDP down to around 20 watts with these same settings and see around the same kind of performance that we're getting here. Forza Horizon 5, I know for a fact that on the Z1 Extreme it does perform quite well. I mean, on every system with the Z1 Extreme, I've been able to get over 60 FPS out of it. We're at 1200p medium, 15-watt TDP. Taking a look in the top left-hand corner, we've got Afterburner running, looking at an average of around 73 FPS. And if you just kind of want to go all out with it, taking it up to a 25 watt TDP, still at 1200p medium settings, we're seeing an average over 90. And truthfully, this is more than enough for me. I mean, I don't mind playing this game at 60, but some people do want to run this at 120. It's totally possible on this system, but you will need to enable a little bit of FSR. I try to avoid it with this one because, like I mentioned, I mean, we're already over that 60 mark. The game is fully playable like it is. Fallout 4 was a game that gave me a lot of trouble on the Legion Go as with the Z2 Go. So the lower end version, when it initially released with Windows, this game had a hard time running at 40 FPS, low settings, 800p. But right now we're at 1200p medium at a 15 watt TDP. And yeah, we get a few dips here and there, but even if I take the wattage up on this, I still get those dips. I really think it just comes down to game optimizations. Spider-Man 2 800p low settings with FSR set to balanced. I've tested a lot of different APUs and you can't hit 60 at 15 watts right now at the time of making this video. So we do need to take it up, and with this game, I like to set it to medium 1200p using FSR frame gen 25 watts over 70 FPS on average. And the last thing I wanted to take a look at was some low TDP gaming. We've got Shredder's Revenge. I'm at a 7 watt TDP, screen brightness set to 50%. Total battery draw on this device is under 9 watts, and that's even with the RGB and everything going. I've also got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on. I really wanted to test this just to kind of get an idea of indie gaming battery life or low wattage battery life. I've also gone through, tested at a 15 watt TDP and 25, so I have a good idea of what kind of runtime we can expect out of this device. So we've got a 55.5 watt hour battery. Through my testing, screen brightness was 50%, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and RGB on. 7 watt indie and 2D gaming, drawing around 9.8 watts in total from that battery, looking at around 5 hours and 30 minutes. 15 watt AAA gaming, around 26 watt draw on average through a bunch of testing here, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And at a 25 watt TDP, we've got a total draw from that battery of 36 watts. So we're looking at around an hour and 30 minutes of runtime. Personally, I do wish that Lenovo would have added a much larger battery here. Going up to a 70 watt, it would have been nice to see an 80 watt in this thing, and it definitely would have made it heavier. But having that extra battery life is something that a lot of people want, something that a lot of people need. And I do think it would have made this device much more appealing to a lot of people out there. So overall, I do like the overall design, and I have since they launched the Legion Go S with that Z2 Go. I think it's a really sleek looking device. I personally like the white variant here more than that Nebula Blue that comes with Steam, but that's just personal preference. We've got the Hall-based triggers around back, Hall-based analog sticks. The D-pad here is decent. It's not the best on the market, but it gets you by with fighting games and platformers. So, I mean, what they've done here is really awesome. The main thing I would love to see is just a larger battery in this same form factor. I think they could have got away by making it a bit thicker if they could have incorporated a much larger battery. So yeah, it's a great performing device, mainly because we've got that Z1 Extreme, and it's not a new chip, we've seen it before, so we know exactly how this thing was going to act. I'm also glad that they added 32 gigs with this one here, and even the SteamOS version with the Z1 Extreme has 32, so if you're interested in picking something like that up, I'll leave links in the description. Hopefully, I'll have mine in a few days. Like I mentioned, Best Buy has a delay on shipping, and it kind of feels like Lenovo has done this on purpose to do kind of a staggered launch to make, Microsoft happy. Now, that's just personal opinion. I don't know anything about what's going on over there, but it kind of seems like that, given that the first Z2 Go version that hit the shelves did have Windows installed. But that's going to wrap it up for this first look video at the Z1 Extreme powered Legion Go S. If you want to see anything else running on this, or if you think I should just install SteamOS on this one and not even wait for the, the SteamOS Blue version to come in, let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning a little more, I'm going to leave some links down below. But that's it for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.